dive into the deck. So first we have our engine of the deck, Skybearer Terra, 4 copies of her. Really good card. The effect reads, during your play phase, you may orbit this warrior from your dead zone. If you do, you call a Skybeast Kefla from your deck to an open zone you control, restricted, meaning you can only do that once per turn. But this is the Kefla that you e-call. 4 copies of her as well. Her effect is, during your play phase, you may orbit this warrior from your dead zone. If you do, e-call a Skybeast Terror from your deck to an open zone you control, restricted. She can only be called once per turn there. They both have printed attacks in their abilities. Hers is a air projectile and hers is a physical strike. 1 damage chainable. So 4 of each of those. Then 3 copies of Aerial Soul Thunderbringer. And we're going to get into later his how he's the main engine of the deck, but they help you with adding pressure on your board for attacks and as bodies to lessen the cost to call your other warriors to the plane. Then next we have our Ultra deck cards and boss monsters. So Ice Doppler. In this build, your opponent activates a Bloodlust card, -1 clash gauge, cast off 1, negate, summon him to your board, has 2 tassel armor so you can play him over him, essentially reducing the cost of your other warriors. So this Thunderbringer, for instance, instead of paying 3 for him, I would just pay 1, playing over top of the Ice Doppler. 1 copy of Terrafinx, just in case I want to get him out instead of the Yangan Ophira. Requires 2 KO to summon, which is pretty easy in this deck. And then the boss monster, their god, Yangan Ophira. You need 1 of each energy to bring her out during the charge phase. She comes out, targets all cards your opponent controls, and then shuffle them back into the deck. And then 1 katana withdraw. If you have no wars in the field, you take damage to your tassel. No, if you take damage to your tassel on a period, excuse the first part, then you e-call her to your K zone, to open zone. She has a printed attack, not worth any body count. Really good. And then we got Vivian, the Skybearer. She's really good for stalling and applying a little bit of pressure because she has a printed attack, but only wind and lightning type cards can attack her more than 1 time per turn. So she's a great stall option, especially if your opponent's not running any wind or lightning. You just have her on the field, you can just stall until you get what you need, unless they have spot removal, of course. So we're going to keep yanking out for later combos. Then next we have our draw and search. So we have, let's go to the deck first. 2 copies of the arena. This is the arena zone. Bird's Nest. Bird's Nest allows you to destroy a Skybearer you control, a Skybeast warrior class to e-call a Skybeast from your deck to a zone you control. So that's any of the Skybeasts in the deck. Really good, but you do not conduct your clash phase, so it can be pricey depending on the situation. It's really good first turn because you can't attack during your clash phase the first turn. 4 copies of Spirit of the Sky. You really want to get your tempo supreme into the dead zone as soon as possible so you don't draw into her and waste that draw, because she can resurrect herself. Spirit of the Sky, it says cast off 1 Skybeast word class for your deck to target an Aerial Soul warrior you control. Place this card underneath. It gets the word class's effect, element, ability, and name into the end phase. Really good card. 4 copies of that. 1 copy of Tempo. She cannot be normal or ninja card. You can e-call her from your hand or dead zone by destroying 2 Skybeast warrior classes you control. She has an effect called Divine Spark. She can't be attacked while you have Aerial Soul War on the field, And during your play phase, instead of normal calling, you may shuffle a card from you control to place a temple binding card face down in your legend zone. Ability Wind Phoenix. Instead of charging, you may destroy a Sky Beast Warrior class to e-call an Aerial Assault Warrior from your deck or dead zone to the open zone you control. Temple the Supreme. So I'm going to call you her. 2 copies of Aerial Assault Soldier. Calling card once per turn. Aerial Assault. While you control an Aerial Assault card on the zone, times 2 warriors damage dealt when attacking. Ability Aerial Assault Resurgence. When this warrior is in the dead zone, you may add any Aerial Assault card from your deck or dead zone to your hand. I would run 4 of them, but there's really no room in the deck. 2 copies of Kayan the Skybearer. She can't be attacked while you have an Aerial Assault war on the field. During your end phase, you may shuffle a card you control to the deck. If you do, add an Aerial Assault card from your dead zone to your hand. And she is a printed attack, physical kick, chainable, 1 damage. Then we got Ugly Assistant. Run 4 copies of her, but this 1 copy of her for the search and draw. I usually use her as a block for an arm negate block, or 1 copy of her to search for Professor Oda. When he's normal call, you discard all cards from your hand and redraw 5. Really powerful. And then next we have our defense cards. For counters, we have 2 Beast Unleashed counters. And then 2 copies of Calibrated Counter, golden. Two copies of Aerial Assault Tizen Barrier. You need Aerial Assault Wars on the field, or else I will run more copies. Then the 3 other copies of Ugly Assistant, they're used as blocks. Three copies of Temple Binding Spell. Target non-element wind or type warrior class with 9 or less life on the field. It cannot attack or defend while this card is face up. Destroy this card when the warrior leaves the field. So it's really powerful with Temple. We call it Temple Loop. You can use Temple to continuously loop Temple Binding Spell into your opponent's warrior with the right synchronization. Vikings Battle Cry. 2 copies of this. 1 copy of Chai Forest. First time a beast would take damage in the gate during end phase of a Sky Beast took damage plus 1 life. You can just shuffle this back into your deck with your Temple or whatnot. 1 copy Ranger Ring is at 1, and 1 copy of Windcatcher. And when a card is activated, it requires a player to cast off, negate into the end phase, and shuffle it back into the deck. Effect: when a wind type card is targeted, you may change it to this card instead. Or when the element wind type card is called, you may swap its zones with another word class the player controls. And then lastly, we have our spot removal. 3 copies of Baby Kia. If I control a Sky Beast Warrior class, I may e-call this warrior from my hand to his open zone. But I can only call Sky Beast Warrior class if I do this effect. And then this ability is a swift ability, meaning I can activate it during my turn or my opponent's turn. And it reads Majestic Winds. Shuffle this card while in the zone. If you do, shuffle this card back into the deck. If you do, target a card in the legend zone and shuffle it back into the deck. Your opponent can't activate cards in response to this ability. Super good. 2 copies of Aerial Assault Carter. Claim card once per turn. Plane Snatcher. During your player charge phase, you may shuffle a warrior class you control on the zone back into the deck till you call this warrior from your hand to an open zone you control. When this warrior is called, you may target a warrior class your opponent controls, destroy this warrior and the target. E-call them to the outer zone 2 during your opponent's draw hill phase. If activated during your opponent's turn, you cannot use defense cards from hand on this turn. 2 copies of him. 1 copies of Souza the Skybearer. Skybees cannot be hassled by it. Effect: when this warrior is called, target X cards your opponent controls, or X equal number of element when type warrior class you control, and if you do, target and destroy a card in the legend zone. Ability: once per turn, this warrior may attack a target for 2 damage, physical punch, chainable. Really good. Skybearer, the Skybearer. Click the card once per turn. This warrior cannot be attacked while you control aerial assault warrior. During your player class phase, while you control a Skybearer warrior class, you can e-call this warrior from your hand to open zone you control. During your play phase, you may shuffle a face-up card you control to shuffle into the deck to shuffle a card in your opponent's legend zone back into the deck. Ability: this warrior may activate aerial assault attack cards from the dead zone to attack. And then lastly, Divine Hatred. So the objective is to get all 3D zones filled up. So what I usually do is I charge the Kia. So I'll be at 8, and then that'll be a full charge. If I can summon a Aerial Assault Thunderbringer here, and then here, that gives me 2 full charges. So all you gotta do is focus on one of these charges, and then you use Thunderbringer, one of the 3 copies you have in your deck, to fully charge this. This saves you 4 turns by using him, and then this saves you 2 turns. So if you can't get him out, you can wait to draw them and figure out how to get them there. But don't be afraid to start charging your K. Don't waste your time charging your KO, because you know he's going to come within 4 turns at least. So fill this up if you have to, then play him here. So then now you have your full 3 charges, and now you can get your boss monster out and get Farah and shuffle other cards back in the deck. So yeah, that's the main combo of this Skybearer build. It's been playing really well. And then also I have the 2 counters in here. So when you play your boss monster and they try to calibrate counter you, you have these counters to react or respond to your opponent's counter, so that it can help your plan go through. I would suggest maybe throwing in a as if you have it as a substitute to help increase the chances of the strategy resolving, which I might do, but for now, 1 catcher is in there to help against flarelets and big extents and whatnot, and other card effects that make my opponent discard, so I can stop and forward the plans. Also protects my wind element warrior classes, and they're all wind. Besides the air assaults, they have they tend to have secondary elements. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you in the arena one day. Tournament coming up on the 31st. New Banlist in a couple days. This build is built around that Banlist actually conveniently. So if you can build this, this deck is playable in the tournament. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Tassie with love, everyone.